Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I am State Attorney Amira Fox, and I stand here today with Cape Coral Police Chief Dave Newland and our teams from both our offices to announce the indictment of Wade Stephen Wilson for the murders of Kristine Melton, age 35, and Dianne Ruiz, 43, both of Cape Coral. The Lee County Grand Jury met today and returned an indictment against Wilson for 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder. He was also indicted for 1 count each of battery, grand theft of a motor vehicle, burglary of a dwelling, and first-degree petty theft. Kristine Melton was found dead in her Cape Coral home on October 7th. The body of Dianne Ruiz was found on October 12th in a field in Cape Coral, 4 days after she was reported missing. I hope today's indictment brings some small comfort to the families of these victims. These 2 women were preyed upon by the defendant, and their murders impacted their families and shook our community. The Cape Coral Police Department investigated these homicides and the events leading up to them, which led to the arrest of the defendant. And I want to say a huge thank you to Chief Newland, his command staff, and the 2 detectives who worked this case, among others, who stand up here with us today, Detective Bell and Detective Jones, and thank them for the absolutely excellent investigative work. They were meticulous, they were patient, and that is why we stand here today with a successful indictment for 2 counts of first-degree murder. Chief Newland, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. As State Attorney Fox indicated earlier today, a grand jury in the 20th Judicial Circuit here in Fort Myers indicted Wade Wilson on the following charges: 2 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count each of battery, grand theft of a motor vehicle, burglary of a dwelling, and first-degree petty theft. On October 7th, officers, detectives, and support staff from the Cape Coral Police Department began investigating the death of Kristine Melton. A short time later, we began investigating the disappearance of Dianne Ruiz. It wasn't long before the evidence led our investigators to believe the 2 incidents were connected. Very early on, our detectives identified Wade Wilson as a person of interest. In fact, Wilson was arrested on other charges mere hours after he was identified as a person of interest. On October 10th, the body of Ruiz was located. She, like Kristine Melton, was the victim of a homicide. Over the past several weeks, while Wilson was in custody, Cape Coral police officers, detectives, and support staff worked tirelessly around the clock on these 2 separate but related cases. We partnered with FDLE and their crime lab, the Lee County Medical Examiner's Office, and of course, State Attorney Amira Fox and her team. I realized that there was, and still is, a lot of attention on these cases, and rightfully so. These types of crimes do not occur often in our community. There have also been questions as to why Wilson was not immediately charged for the deaths of Melton and Ruiz. Let me be clear. Securing a successful prosecution and ultimately a conviction in this case is paramount. A hastily conducted investigation simply for the sake of speed, where steps could be missed, benefits no one. We had to ensure that we provided State Attorney Fox and her team with the best investigation, with all of our I's dotted and all of our T's crossed, to ensure that justice will be served. The community as a whole, and specifically the families of Kristine Melton and Dianne Ruiz, deserve nothing less. I am grateful for the working partnerships we have with FDLE, the Lee County Medical Examiner's Office, the U.S. Marshal's Office, and of course, State Attorney Amira Fox and her entire office. I am also proud of the men and women of the Cape Coral Police Department who work so hard in these cases. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Newland. This is a great example of the cooperation and teamwork between our office and law enforcement, and on this case with Cape Coral Police Department. Today's grand jury indictment is just the start of the process of this case as we move forward with the prosecution of the defendant. I want to thank our state attorney's homicide unit for their incredibly hard work on this case with the Cape Coral Police Department. Assistant State Attorney Andreas Gardner and Assistant State Attorney Agnieszka Asavico will be prosecuting this case. Wilson will have his first appearance tomorrow morning. Due to this being an active case, we will be unable to take any questions at this time, as this is now an active prosecution. Thank you so much for coming.